You need to work on that. So I would say for years, I didn't work on that. I was constantly just going out dating, and, doing my job as a mum, but then would go out and just changing one guy to another, thinking that they're going to help me feel better about myself. But it wasn't until I was in my late 20s, after one of the breakup that I had, I just thought, oh my God, maybe I am the problem. So I worked on myself. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Lynn Padetti here, helping you to achieve time freedom so that you have more time for self, family, business, and life. Now in this video, I want to share with you some of my single mom motivations. So a lot of you have probably found me from one of my previous videos about single parenting and how I was able to change my life from being a young single mom to now, I guess, a business owner and a happy wife with more kids now. Now in this video, I want to dive deeper into what happened when I started dating, what are the challenges when you're a single mom, and I guess some tips around how to stay motivated as a single mom. Now, just take you back a little brief story about myself is that I was a single mom at the age of 20. So at 19, I was pregnant. And to cut the story short, I was kicked out of home. My Asian parents were very pissed off at me. I also didn't date a good guy. He was toxic, he was abusive. And I was, not only am I dealing with a baby and trying to go through uni, I was also dealing with relationship problems. I was in love with this guy that was not good for me. And so I ended up just being a very miserable mum that was trying to handle a kid. Let's talk about the dating challenges as a single mum. So after I gave birth to my son, I pretty much kept having fights with my boyfriend at the time, and we pretty much broke up a lot of times. And I would say that officially broke up when my son was 1. And I definitely didn't hesitate to date because I was so young back then, and I was very, I guess, lonely and sad, and I just wanted to find my happiness. So I started dating. But I think the belief inside of me, because maybe I was still too young to really grasp anything, I actually just didn't feel like anything. I didn't feel like I was a mum. I didn't feel like I was a single mum. I just felt like I was Lynn. So I had no problem in dating. I didn't have any problem in finding new love. I was going out. I was very friendly, flirty as well. But I definitely use going out and dating as my way of escaping my pain. So I would take care of my kid and do what the mum duties were and go to school and do all the proper stuff. But then when it came to going out, I would just go out and date around. There were many years that I had boyfriends that kind of knew about my kid and even played with my kid, and there was never really any challenge with like the guy and the kid. If anything, some of the guys were even dating me and using my kid as a way to get to me, like being really nice to the kid and wanting to buy my heart through the love that they showed to my son. Some of them, to me, when I look back, were just doing that. So at the time, you're like, oh, what a sweet guy. He's so nice to my kid. But then when we break up or whatever, it's just like gone. It's not really a true stepdad kind of thing. But after I started dating a lot, I realized that I didn't want my son to keep seeing different guys, and it's kind of a bit weird. So I stopped introducing the guys to my son because I was like, you know what? I'm still a kid, a young girl, a young teenager, still dating around. So why complicate things by having my kid involved with the guy? And so for a few years after that, just dated it, but it didn't bring the guy over here. But I guess throughout it all, I did have a struggle and dilemma between like, when you meet someone new and you just met them, it's like me going, hi, it's Lynn and I have a son. It's kind of really weird to just introduce yourself like that. But at the same time, I wanted to get it out straight away because I didn't want to attract anyone that is dating me because they think it's me and they don't realize that I come with a kid. I really wanted to be clear that I have a kid and that you know about it and that you're making a decision that you're dating me and I have a kid. I didn't want anyone to like me and then later go, oh, I didn't know you have a kid, and then treat my kid different. So I was always straight up front from the beginning and told them that. And I remember just feeling like, oh my God, like it's so weird. It's like, it's almost going, hi, I'm Lynn and I have a son. And it's always like kind of surprises people and straight in the face, but I can't think of any other way. I really felt right with myself. I felt like, it's just honesty, and yes, it might be a turn off for some of you, but who cares? My son is very important to me. And so I'm very proud and very confident, like, yeah, I have a kid. And so most of them are fine with it. They just move on with it. And I didn't act awkward around it. And I think, if you're in that position and you're wondering like, how do I act when I have a new partner, then be proud that you're a mum, be proud that you have a kid, and just be yourself, because you want to attract the people that love you for you with the son, because you are now not just Lynn, or you are not just you are you with a kid. And then the next thing is that I wanted to make sure that I never felt like I'm worse than another woman, right? So I don't know, I just always saw myself as Lynn and proud to be Lynn, and not carry this like, oh, I wonder how he thinks and what he thinks and this and that, because I think it's all your perception of yourself. And if you have that kind of limiting beliefs or lower self-esteem, it can really rub off on the other person. It's like, you know, you kind of wonder, oh, maybe they're not treating me well because I'm a single mum. Maybe I don't have the same chance with the guys because I'm a single mum. There's all these things that you say to yourself that makes yourself not as attractive in that way. Well, when I say attractive, I mean confident. When, you know, you can look whatever way, but if you have the confidence and the charisma, people will be attracted to that and really, you know, appreciate you for that and go, wow, you know, I'm blown away from her confidence. But if you come across like, oh, you know, I have a kid, or, you know, maybe I have to act different because I have a kid, you're just enabling people to treat you different. So my whole point is kind of, don't feel different. Yes, you feel different in that you're proud that you have a kid, but you shouldn't feel any inferior than anyone else who don't have a kid, is what I'm trying to say. Now, when it comes to dating, I really think that whether you have a kid or you don't have a kid, we really need, as a single mom, to take care of our mental state, our mental health. And it means that to really learn the topic of personal development, law of attraction, changing your mindset, reading the books like Think and Grow Rich. There's so many great books out there that teach you the power of the mind, because in order to survive and thrive as a single mom, you really need to know how to control your thoughts, to not blame, to not feel negative and be unhappy around your kid. You really need to be constantly in a good mood and have that energy. Not to say that there are days that you might feel bad, but it's about knowing how to control your thought to become more positive. So I really think that as a single mum, you know, you need to be there for your kid even more. So that means working on yourself, making sure that you understand yourself, making sure you're aware of your addiction to anything, or why you're addicted or keep dating the wrong guys. You need to work on that. So I would say for years I didn't work on that. I was constantly just going out dating and, you know, doing my job as a mum, but then would go out and just changing one guy to another, thinking that they're gonna help me feel better about myself. But it wasn't until I was in my late 20s, after one of the breakup that I had, I just thought, oh my God, maybe I am the problem. So I worked on myself. So if I could turn back time, I wish that my parents or the school system exposed me to personal development, learning about mindset, learning about that your thoughts isn't everything. Then I would have been able to, you know, work on my brain and myself and the way I think. And I think a lot of times, whether you're a single mom or not, is we have trauma from growing up with our parents, the way they raised us up, or the experience that we experience through life, make us do certain things, make us attract the certain guys, make us do, you know, make bad decisions. So we need to go back and just really do a lot of work. You know, it's constant work. Just really be willing to dig deeper in yourself and go, why am I acting this way? Where did it come from? You know, why is there a pattern of this pattern, and how do I switch that pattern up? And really work on auditing your life in the past, learning new things in the future, and work on that. And then finding inspiration from this video like myself and go, okay, if she did it, I can do it. And if she did it like this, I'll try this and that. And learn it from friends and people that have the success that you're after. So if you're a single mum and you need the motivation to succeed, don't go and talk to other single mums that are in a bad relationship and negative and always have something to complain with. Change your environment. Go and find people that have the result that you're after, or have the motivation and energy that you're seeking to have, because that's the people that are going to pull you up instead of pulling you down. And I would say I spent a lot of years just venting with friends and going, oh, this guy did this and my life is this and that. And it didn't really help my life. I just keep on going around and around in circles, so it was not helpful at all. The other thing that was a big key to my life was when I did meet my husband. He was in Sydney and I was in Melbourne, and I had to make a decision to move to Sydney, which I had no problem at all, because I've always wanted to move to a new country, new city. I just wanted to go somewhere. I've always been that adventurous type. I didn't want to let having a kid stop me from doing what I want to do. As long as what I want to do, I give the option to my son. So what happened was I said to my son, I'm going to Sydney and I would love for you to come with me. But he said no. He was adamant. He says, nope, I don't want to go. He was angry about it. And no matter how much convincing, and even I was shedding tears, he says, no, I'm happy for you to go and you come and visit me and I visit you, but I don't want to go. Now, most mums in that crossroad would be like, I feel guilty if I leave him. I feel bad if I don't get to live my life. At the end of the day, do what makes you happy for the long term. I knew that I wanted a new life. I wanted a new change. I wanted just to refresh my life. And I have my own life to live. My son, I've given him a life, and he also has a life and choice to live. Of course, he's not 2 years old, and which was different. He's already 10, and I made that decision to listen to him because he was wise enough to be sure of what he wants. And I have no regrets now, because I remember my friends going, oh my God, why are you letting your son decide on his destiny of where to live? Because he's so young, you should be taking him with you. But I also didn't listen to what they had to say. I said, I know my circumstance. I know my son. I know that he's competent enough to make that decision. And the last thing I want is forcing him to do something, go somewhere that he doesn't want to. And one day when he turns out bad, or he gets depressed from bullying or from something, it's my fault. I forced that on him. And so I didn't listen to my friends. It was very hard because I was also in that crossroad, like, am I making the right decision? But if I want to do this, he wants to do that, then if I love him, I would give him his way. And so we did that. We continued to live in separate cities, but then I was able to visit him every time. And our relationship is just so good. Even all that distance apart, we were able to see each other a lot. And even during the COVID recently, well, he's 17 now. It's like a long time now. He, has grown up into a big, wise, independent boy, young man. And even with the distance, he's so close to his siblings. So now I have 2 young kids and he's so close to them. So what's the whole point of the story is that you need to really find that sweet spot between, like, what do you really want, and not care too much about what people say and the guilt of what a parent should be, what a mum should be, what others think you should be, but truly going, I'm doing this because it will make me really happy and I know it's the right thing. And it's not that I'm not seeing my son. I'm going to see him in this way. It might not look ideal that we're not living in the same household, but if it makes him happy, I'm going to do that. And who knows, maybe one day he'll change his mind. But all you do is you try to make the best decision. And it's not that I'm not letting him come. Here's the difference. If I left him and didn't let him come, that's different. I'm giving him a choice. You can be here or you can come. If you ever change your mind, I'm still here. And so I think it was the best decision for me, because I've seen situations where the kid gets moved to a different school when they're young at that age, and then they have to make new friends and then get depressed, new city, and they might just blame you for it. And so I would say now, many, many years later, and we still have a very healthy relationship. He still respects me as a mum. He respects my new husband, and we always go on family holidays together. We visit each other, and it's just a very peaceful and beautiful family arrangement. So my tip for you is, if you are going through a breakup right now, or you have gone through a breakup and you're just feeling really miserable, like what could life really look like? I would say that life is amazing. So many amazing things could come out through the pain that we've gone through. The pain gives us a purpose, to the drive to succeed in life. And it will also give us a reason to look back and go, wow, I'm so proud of myself that I was able to do this and turn to this. And, you're fortunate to have a child, have children that are such blessings too. They bring so much joy and purpose in your life. When you don't have a child, you kind of feel like, it's just you that you have to take care of. But when you have children to take care of, it just gives you more of a bigger reason to exist in this life as well. And just know that as long as you keep your happiness, yourself in the front, as well as considerate of, how you treat your children or the people around you, as long as you're not hurting anybody, it's okay to follow your heart, to do what's right, that you think is right. And because the moment we try to do things for others, we're going to live with regret. We're going to think back and go, why did I do that for? At least if you make a mistake and it's your own mistake and you did that, it's different to being forced or being, told to do, or being judged and making yourself do something you didn't want to, because I think that's the worst regret. So don't worry too far. Think about each day. Don't worry about tomorrow. Think about how you can do today and try your best every new habit that you learn, every new learnings that you learn from an expert or someone that's been there before you, just try to do something new and learn something and try your best, because eventually you will become that next expert and then you can help other single moms who have been in your shoe. So thank you so much for watching. If you love more motivation around single parenting or how to succeed in life in general, you can see some more videos here. But I'd love to hear in the comments below, I guess, what are your current challenge and what you need help with, because I love to be able to respond to you and see if I can help you. Yeah, thank you so much, guys.